Hi there folks, welcome back to the IB and Andy Fishing channel. I hope you're doing really well. Please don't forget to hit the subs button, that way you'll be kept in touch with all the news, product reviews and all the fishing that IB and I get up to on this little corner of the internet. If you're already subscribed, thank you very much for joining us again. On the back of IB's kind of vaguely sentimental vlog in the last episode, we've actually come down to do something fairly similar. Now those of you who have been watching the channel for a while now will have noticed that when we're doing stuff in the house, when we're filming stuff in the house, in the right hand corner of the shot there's a little wooden fly box, this one. And everything that's on those shelves is there for some kind of sentimental reason. Everything's got its own reason to be on those shelves, and this is no different. So what this is a fly box full of flies that I tied before the age of 12 years old. And I know that for a fact because after we moved house in 1997, this fly box got put away in a box and never saw the light of day again. So every single one of the flies that's in here was tied before 1997, which means that potentially some of these flies could be approaching 30 years old. I'd totally forgotten about them for years until they turned up in a house move. And I've been looking at this since the winter when we found them and thought, actually, wouldn't that make a really cool vlog to come out, potentially, as I say, up to 30 years after some of these were tied, and see if I can catch a few fish on them. I'm not going to lie, not all of them are perfect imitations of anything. I ate a lot of sweets as a kid, and I think it probably shows in this, because there's some flies in there that I'm looking at now and thinking, what was I on? But I think I can make them work. The river's in great condition. We've got about 2 or 3 hours before the light goes. Just try and catch a few fish on these flies that I tied as a very, very young kid. 25, 30 years ago. It should be really fun. We'll go through it. We'll fish some nymphs, we'll fish some spiders, we'll fish some dries, and hopefully by the end of the day, I'll have caught half a dozen fish on flies that I tied a long, long time ago. I can't even remember tying most of these. It was that long. Right, so first things first, a bit of Euro nymphing. And clearly, as a kid, I was mostly into hare's ears and pheasant tails. There are some really, really brutal hare's ears there particularly. There's a lot of lead showing. I clearly wasn't particularly keen on using too much dubbing. I was probably pretty tight as a kid. So we'll give those a go. Also the pheasant tails are a wee bit skinny. There's some funky materials in there. They're all on heavily barbed hooks, so having to pinch barbs down. You'll notice there's no beads in there, no gold beads or no tungsten beads, and that's probably because at that age they would have been a little bit too expensive. I don't reckon Dad would have let me use gold beads, and I can't even remember tungsten beads being a thing. You're talking late 80s, early 90s. I can't even remember seeing a tungsten bead. So we've got some leaded and some unleaded stuff. Fortunately, the river's low. We'll fish nice light flies. Who knows? Maybe I could get a fish on a fly I tied 30 years ago. Let's go. Righty, so I've gone for one of each. I've got a gold ribbed hare's ear on the point that's got a load of lead in it and a lot of gold rib. I clearly got a bit excited with the gold wire on that one. Dad probably wasn't watching. And then on the dropper, I've got a pheasant tail, and these are probably the two best flies I could have picked. And I use the term best here very loosely. As I say, I'm going to start off by Euro nymphing. I'm actually using the new Hivers version of our Euro nymphing in a box kit, which you will find at the web shop. But for the moment, I want to concentrate on the fishing because that, I think, was a take. The fly's definitely heavy enough, that's for sure. It's getting down. So in terms of what we're imitating, that hare's ear is going to do a pretty good job of a caddis nymph. That was a fish, I felt to pluck them. That hare's ear is going to do a pretty good job of a caddis nymph. And obviously the pheasant tail is going to imitate a olive nymph, some kind of batis quite nicely. Actually, it's a pretty good looking fly, that pheasant tail. I reckon we've got enough here to catch a few fish. What I am going to do is every time I catch a fish on a fly, I'm going to take it off. So I'm not catching fish on the same fly twice. But I've got to catch a fish first before we start worrying about that. There is a chance this doesn't work, by the way. This will be a total fail, at which point I put away my 30-year-old flies and stick to what we've been using more recently. Oh, that's a thing. That's a weed.
Does that count?
IB's just asked if that counts. I don't think so. I'd like to find something with a few more scales than that. That point fly's getting down though, I'm surprised at that. The gold rib is like doubled over, so it's crisscrossed back the way up. Probably not my best idea to start winging around the Euro nymphing kit while there's fish rising everywhere, but if we don't get the fish caught on the nymphs early, we might not do this at all, and I'm really keen to get a couple on these nymphs. Given that they're probably the best looking flies in the box, I think this is the best chance, which is worrying. What do you reckon, IB? 30-year-old flies, do you reckon it's possible?
I think it's possible. I just think you need to keep moving upstream. There's going to be a stupid enough fish not to care how the fly looks. Kind of like me.
Stupid enough not care what it looks like?
Yeah.
Thanks. Having said that, the only thing here now that is older than these flies is me.
That's so true.
Well, clearly these fish don't understand what good flies look like. Very poor taste. Righty, just moved up for a second to find some slightly more discerning fish. Clearly those fish down there don't know what's good for them. Both of those flies look absolutely fine. I mean, the point fly looks a little bit like a poo on a hook, but, you know, it's not terrible. And the top dropper looks great. Oh, that was a fish. Gosh, dang it. That one was a fish. It's going to need a clever fish to eat one of these. The stupid ones won't touch them. They'll just go for red tags and pink shrimps.
Squirmies.
Squirmies. God, I wish I knew how to tie a squirmy when I was 8. This would be a lot more straightforward right now.
Where are you getting your materials from?
So we had one little, I think it was an old cool box actually, that wasn't keeping things cool anymore. Fish, there we go. There we go, we've got a fish, we've got a fish. We'll come back to that in a minute, Ivy. Oh, panic, what do I do to get him on a reel? What do I do? Oh my goodness, it's happening. It's happening. What do you reckon, IB? Is it the pheasant tail or is it the poo fly?
The poo fly, I think.
You reckon it's poo fly? Oh my goodness, I'm genuinely nervous playing this. Please don't come off. Please don't come off. Please don't come off. Yay! That's one on the top drop of the pheasant tail. God, what a relief. I'd missed a couple up until then, but geez, it's nice to get one in the net. So the hook's fallen out in the net. I did debarb everything before it went on. And that is a massive and hugely intelligent grayling. The kind of fish that you wouldn't catch on a squirmy or a red tag. It's pretty flappy, so we'll get him back. Right, that means I can change that top dropper. I'm going to let IB choose one of the nymphs out of the pack for that top dropper.
Okay.
Be kind.
Should I be nice to Andy or not so nice? I'm always nice to Andy, so I'm going to pick this one. I'm picking this fly because I think it imitates very nicely the natural fly. Yeah, I just can't even, there's no words to describe it, to be honest.
A red tag?
Yes.
Okay, I'll try that. I was going to fish that on the spiders, but actually, underneath the poo fly or alongside the poo fly, I might be able to get that down. We'll give it a go. Right, so IB, having said that she's always kind, has just given me a nymph. There isn't even a freaking nymph. It's a red tag spider, but I think, given these fish are moving around, they seem to be looking for stuff that's hatching. I think, using the weight of the poo fly, I can get this down in amongst feeding fish. IB, why are you laughing?
The poo fly.
Hey, you leave the poo fly out of this, he's doing a good job. Man's making a living. Just give it a bit of animation. Try and make it look like it's trying to emerge. Definitely swing that one as well. With it being a soft hacker, with it being more of a spider pattern, there's definite merit to swinging this. Oh, I missed him. God damn it. Exactly that, exactly that. Just giving it a bit of animation at the end, just getting that fly moving and something ate it. So we'll stick to that plan.
You haven't finished telling me about your materials.
I'll say, yeah, I'd be asked about where I got my materials from. So we had one little plastic box full of materials, and it was generally pretty basic stuff. And once I'd run out of something, obviously being a child, I didn't have the money to replace it. So if I ran out of a particular feather that I wanted, I would have to go and find it in different means. Sometimes that would be, you know, going out and looking for it in the streets or in the countryside, pheasant tails and stuff like that. Sometimes I would just try and take the feathers out of my pillows and my duvet, and that was often the way to go, particularly with mayfly wings. Mum used to love that.
How long did it take you to actually become good at tying flies?
How long did it take me to become... some people would say I still haven't. I was really lucky actually in that I was taught to tie flies by a very, very talented commercial tie called Tim Thorpe, who ran a business called Derbyshire Fishing Flies actually. I don't know if it's still going actually, it could be. I remember being kind of 8-9 years old, and Dad bought me fly tying lessons for my birthday. So we would go to Tim's house. I would be sat in a chair and Tim would show me how to tie a fly, and then him and Dad would drink, and then Tim would occasionally come back and ask me how it was going.
Did Tim have loads of materials that you were excited?
Tim was great. Tim was absolutely fantastic. I've done him a disservice there. Tim was great. He was very, very patient. I think the last thing you'd want to do is try and teach an 8-year-old how to tie flies. He did a bloody good job of it. If it wasn't for Tim, I wouldn't be tying flies still, I doubt, so I owe Tim a lot. But I was always of the impression that Dad's plan really was to teach me to tie flies, so he didn't have to anymore. I think he just thought he was going to end up with like an endless supply of free flies if he just taught me how to tie them, which actually he kind of did, thinking about it.
Was your dad good at flying?
Was Dad good at tying flies? Rough and ready flies. I don't think he particularly enjoyed it. He didn't have a whole lot of spare time. He was a pretty busy bloke. So I don't think he really wanted to fully commit to the whole craft.
When did you catch your first fish on your own fly?
Do you know, Ivy? That's a great question. I don't think I actually know the answer to that. Yeah, I don't think I know. I know the fly I caught my first fish on, but I don't think I was tying at that point. I'll get back to you on that, because actually, when I was very, very young, I kept a handwritten diary.
It's fascinating to watch.
You are so sarcastic. So sarcastic. Well, you duffed me up with the bloody spider.
Why don't you take a dry fly?
Are you taking pity on me here? Is that a pity offer?
No, but they're fish rising.
I'll pick up a dry fly. I'll use a dry fly for a few minutes. Okay, so IB got fed up of waiting for me to catch a fish on the nymphs, so has told me to fish a dry fly, even though there's nothing rising. And I've gone for what I'd describe as it's a big fly. It's a bit caddisy, it's a bit olivey, it's got a lot of hackle. There's a lot. It's a lot, and it's going to catch all of the fish. You just wait. 8-year-old Andy was a genius. IB, stop laughing. You just wait. Fulham Mill will be buying this off me next year. You wait. Right, there's been fish moving somewhere on that line there.
It's definitely big.
It's big. It's big. Well, I can see it. IB, stop laughing. What's so funny about that?
You'll be able to see that thing at midnight.
The way it's going at the moment, we might still be here at midnight filming this one. Oh, that looks great on the water. IB, stop laughing. No laughing.
Ooh!
Oh, he didn't quite eat it, but he had a good look at it. Didn't pull it down. See, I told you.
Even the fish refused it.
No, that wasn't a refusal.
He came up to it and probably went, oh shit.
No, he came up to it and went, wow, look at that. Freaking awesome. And then just forgot to eat it, but that's okay. I don't know why I struck. I could see the fly the whole time. Bit of movement. Oh, that's in the tree. Oh no. Oh, that's pretty solid as well.
Did 8-year-old Andy knew how to cast?
I'm so excited about the fish. So I've broken that off. I know where it is. I'll go back and get it in a bit. IB, do you want to go and pick a dry fly?
Okay. I've got your fly.
Ah, the mayfly. So this is a mayfly with what I think is probably a pillowcase wing.
Oh dear, oh dear.
It's beautiful, that.
Great tail.
Yeah.
You're gonna catch so many fish on that.
You just wait. Hey, you didn't think the big fly was going to work. Just saying.
Have you caught fish in it?
I think you put too much emphasis on catching fish sometimes and not enough emphasis on enjoying nature. It's a real fault of yours. Look at what a beautiful evening. What a
Unlike
beautiful
your
evening.
flies.
Hey, these flies are beautiful every evening. So IB's chosen the beautiful mayfly imitation we've got in there, and actually there are a few mayfly around still, so this might do. I'm pretty confident of that. That's going to rise a fish, you wait. It's got about 10 casts in it, I reckon, before it starts to fall apart, so it needs to rise a fish pretty quickly, ideally.
We always say it doesn't matter what fly it is as long as it imitates remotely. It's all about the drift.
All about the drift.
It's time to prove it.
It's a presentation game. Oh, please eat it. Please eat this fly. IB, what's going on? Why aren't they eating this? What's wrong with them?
Because your fly's shit.
My fly's not shit. It's just not the right fish. What's frustrating about this is that actually this is one of the flies in the box that I looked at and thought, well, yeah, that one will work. So one thing I have noticed about this fly that was an interesting design decision for young me was that the detached body, which looks beautiful, is held together with copper wire. For some reason I chose metal as the right thing to keep my dry fly holding together, which in hindsight probably wasn't the greatest move, but it does look nice.
Maybe it's just versatile. You could use it both as a dry and as a
Good
vet.
thinking, Ivy. That's exactly what I would have been thinking as a young'un. I want something here that I can use pre and mid hatch. Got him!
Ooh,
Yes! Got him! It's a good fish as well. Finally found a fish with a bit of common sense. Why wouldn't you want to eat the copper ribbed detached body mayfly? Why wouldn't you want to eat that in the second week of July? Good fish as well. Hope that hook holds. No idea what brand of hook it is.
Good job.
Just gave us a chance there, didn't they? Just a few fish rose for a couple of seconds.
And there were like flies all of a sudden.
Yeah. Come on. Pack it in. Pack it in. Oh, the fish isn't just here.
I know, fish are rising now. Go on, Andy. Go on.
Come on. Come on, the 1989 mayfly. Yeah! It's a nice fish as well. It's a wildie. It's a gorgeous fish. IB has got absolutely no faith at all. I told you all, no one was listening to me. That mayfly is going to work in the middle of July. I'm not quite sure what's happened there, but he took it with loads of confidence, and actually it's an absolute beauty of a fish. Loads of energy. It's a real crackerjack of a trout. Look at that. That is a quality fish on a quality fly. That's how it should go. IB, should we try and catch a couple more now? It started to kick off.
100%.
We've still got some light. I think we can get a few more here.
100%.
Let's do it. Okay, so not going to lie, I have hand selected there what is probably the best looking fly in the box. Now, don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean a lot. But, you know, there's a bit of a hackle. It's fairly straight. There's a tail that's straight enough. Bit of dubbing. That could be a food thing. I'm gonna go and give it a go. See if they think it's a food thing. Okay, so fish rising in this seam on the far side. It's going to be a fairly technical one, this is. Not quite got that right. And a bit more downstream, bit of a reach across. That's not bad. Got him. Yep, straight away. Best fly in the box. Got him. Nice technical cast. Fly looks right. I reckon that's probably a 1996 vintage, that one. That's a good fly. That was always going to work. That one felt like cheating, IB. That.
Almost as old as I am.
Literally, some of the flies in that box are older than you, IB. You gonna come back this way?
Maybe that's it. You know when people say, oh, that fish seen every fly pattern in the world?
It ain't seen these. No one's seen these. Morning after this vlog goes live, Fully Mill will be on the phone. We need them patterns. Come on, bud. Not in the weed over there. No.
It's a nice fish again.
It's another good one. There we go. Now we're rocking. So another nice brownie, not quite as wild as the previous one, I don't think. IB and I have just had a debate about that. He's wild enough to find his own way out the net though. That was quite impressive. IB, what do you reckon? Another dry fly?
Yes.
Should we give it a go?
Yeah.
So I've selected another surefire winner from a box of absolute winners. This has even got a peacock quill body on it. Again, I think this is probably a slightly later fly, this one. I think this is probably 95, 96 vintage, because peacock quill would have been beyond young me. Nice long tail, bit of a hackle that I've trimmed down slightly. That'll do a good job as an olive spinner, and I think there's a few around at the moment, so I'm not anticipating this one taking too long either.
Does this one have some metal in it as well, or?
No, there's no extra metal in this one, no. Clearly by the time I got around to tying this one, I figured out that adding metal to a dry fly probably wasn't the way to go. Actually, in fairness, this is a perfectly passable olive and a size 14. It's a little bit big for what's coming down at the moment, but it's near enough. Righty, there's a fish rising just at the tail out of the next pool that is definitely going to eat this fly. It's the perfect fly for the occasion. Oh, it's not a great cast. That'll do. That'll do. No, that won't do. That won't do. I might have picked a bad one here, Ivy.
Bad fly.
Well, a bad fish. I don't think there's anything wrong with the fly. I think it's the wrong fish for the situation. Yeah, finally. You just needed to see it a couple more times. You know what happened there? The first couple of times
You grated the hatch.
The first couple of times it went over me, it was like, oh my god, that is awesome. And he was so in awe of the tie-in. It's the peacock quill that did it there. He was so in awe of that peacock quill. The 1.5 turns that made up the body of the fly. It was like, geez, that's too good to eat. Do you know when you go to a fancy restaurant and they serve you flash looking food? And there's a part of you that's like, oh, it's too nice to eat, that is. But then after a couple of minutes, you're like, oh, I'm really bloody hungry, I'm going to smash that. That's what happened there. That's exactly what happened. Back he goes. Oh, that's a nice reel. IB, do you want to have a go?
No.
Oh, why not?
Not with your flies.
What's wrong with my flies?
They're horrendous.
They're catching fish, aren't they?
Barely.
What do you mean? Oh, right. I'm having another go, that's for sure. I'm definitely having another one. Righty, one more fish. That's all. We're running out of light, running out of time. So one more fish. And I've just put on a little number with a paired wing. Now, I'll use the term paired loosely. The only way in which these are paired is that there are two of them. They're certainly not matched. But it's quite a nice little number. It's probably a size 16. Bit of a hackle, bit of a wing, straight tail. Now, how far on can you go? In fact, I can't see it. I think it's floating. It ought to be floating. It's got enough Hunt's Original to refloat the Titanic. No. IB, I need a fish. Point me at a fish.
Well, those two are the only fish that I've seen.
IB, here's a question for you. Why have I put on the smallest, least visible fly I've got?
Because you're an idiot?
At this time of night. Oh, what a take! That is the power of the size 18 1994 vintage olive.
Are you sure you were tying size 18?
It's pretty small, honestly. It's a small fly. What a ridiculous take that was. He freaking smashed it. Okay, there's a fish rising just a bit further upstream, but across the other side of the bubble line. It's going to be a bit of a nightmare drift. Got him, there we go. Oh, I took that beautifully as well. That was a great take. Where are you going, bud? What's your plan? Nice fish. Nice brownie. Nope. Also no. Come on. Ah, it's another good one. It's another nice fish. Honestly, IB, you've got this wrong. These flies are it. 25-year-old flies. Beautiful Derbyshire brown trout. Well, the nymphing went really bloody badly, and I didn't manage to throw any of the spider patterns I was planning on. But why would you when there's fish rising like this? Possibly in the future I might revisit this one, particularly with the nymphs. I think there's more to be done. But for the time being, I'm going to get packed up and meet you guys back at the car. So as you guys have probably guessed from the fact that I'm sat here in the house again, by the time IB and I got back to the car, it was pitch black. We got home, had some pizza, had a couple of beers. We both totally forgot about the outro. Pretty standard, sorry about that. But here we are. This is about a week later now. I've just finished editing the main part of the video. I thought best film an outro for it. And that has been super fun going out and fishing with these. These cropped up about 6 months ago, maybe longer actually, it could be longer than that. And straight away I thought, oh God, I'd love to go out and fish with that box of flies. Because this was my absolute proudest possession for a long time. I remember my dad buying this box for me at Chatsworth Game Fair. I think it was probably 1992 or 1993. It was my first ever fly box and I was so proud of it. I tried to burn my initials onto it. Now that was absolutely typical 8-year-old me. Made a right mess of it, but that's never going to belong to anyone else now. That is my box for life. It wasn't a shock to me that some of the flies worked. Actually, some of them were okay. It was a little bit frustrating that I didn't get more chance to fish the spiders or to fish a few more of the wet flies and the tags and stuff like that. The nymphing round here has been pretty poor lately. The rivers have been pretty low, although it is absolutely hammering outside now. So there's going to be a lot more rain going through the rivers in the next couple of weeks, that's for sure. But those dry flies work really, really nicely. And clearly 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old me was onto something, particularly with those olive patterns. That big mayfly is a lot of fun. It's probably a reflection of what a strange trout season it's been that we're still catching fish on mayflies in the second week of July. But he hit that no problems at all, took it really, really nicely. The other smaller patterns, as I say, my feeling was they were always going to work. At the very least, guys, what I hope this does is shows you that actually you don't need absolutely perfect imitations of a lot of these flies. As you've seen, these aren't particularly great imitations of anything in particular, but if they look enough like a piece of food, then the chances are that the fish is going to try and eat it at the very least. We had lots of interest in these flies as well as the takes that we got. This is all about presentation. As I said on the vlog, it's a presentation game. Work hard to get your drifts right. This is why IB and I use those long leaders. We use the longer rods. We're trying to get the drift right because that is the important bit. If you've got a nice selection of steady flies, consistent flies that will catch fish pretty much anywhere, that look enough like a food item, it doesn't need to be a perfect imitation. Get your presentation right, get some slack on the water if you're fishing rivers, and make sure that drift is good, because if it is, as you've just seen, the fish will eat them. As it is for now, it's time to retire this box of flies back up onto that shelf up there where they belong. And I need to say thank you very much to you guys for watching this vlog. We really appreciate it. As ever, the kit that we used will be linked in the description box below. They're all affiliate links. We appreciate all the attention that they get. IB and I are going to see you guys again very, very soon for some more fishing, some more reviews and some more stuff. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.